It's obviously physically impossible, but this observation has been made so often that there's probably something going on. People who are really into meditation can read minds.
Wait, what do you mean that we have anthropological evidence for this?
This is so embedded into the culture. It's in Pokemon.
Kadabra and Sabrina are joined telepathically.
Psychic Pokemon can read minds.
Oh, that's
And
true.
they also do a ton of meditation.
Huh.
When you get into these fields, which you probably don't because you're a rational human being that doesn't go to tarot card readings and palm readings and stuff. But if you get to these, you'll notice that they are deeply enmeshed.
Interesting. I see. I find it difficult to, because normally when I think of like mind reading, I think of cold reading someone, where you're just picking up on little bits, little cues that they might give you, maybe even implanting some of your own and just saying, hey, like, I know what card you're thinking of, and it's, you know, the 3 of clubs or whatever. Oh, are we doing some magic?
Pick a card. Doesn't matter which. Okay. Now look at your card, and I'm going to try to guess what your card is by reading your mind.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yep.
You know that I know, and I don't even have to tell you what the card is. Why don't you show it to the camera?
It's the 3 of clubs. I noticed you thumbing through there, and I wanted to deliberately pick something at like a time that you didn't expect, and I didn't see any sort of sleight of hand. Like maybe you were doing the same card and I just wasn't paying close enough attention. Oh, that was actually really impressive. Color me impressed. Wow, you read my mind.
I totally read your mind.
You read my mind. That's crazy. Well, I guess we've just proved it on camera. That's crazy. Wow. Well, I am surprised that mind reading is real, but you know, I've been surprised before.
Well, you know how I do a lot of trolling? I'm about to tell you that despite that, mind reading is actually real.
Okay. Well, so it's more than just sleight of hand. It's more than just is it more than just cold reading someone?
Depends on what you mean more than cold reading. There's no ESP, if that's what you're wondering.
Right. Not like some sort of psychic phenomenon in which, yeah.
No, the psychic stuff is not real. Or at least the psychic phenomenon is an incorrect explanation for something that people do observe. Short answer is if you actually quarantine information, you can't transmit information from one room to another. But there is a connection between meditation and what looks like mind reading.
Okay, say more.
Sure. And this came as a surprise to me. When you read, let's just say, Daniel Ingram's book on meditation.
Yeah.
There'll be a whole bunch of stuff about the casinos where you focus your attention and you generate these images. There'll be a whole bunch of stuff about the jhanas, and there'll whole bunch of stuff about the insight. And then he's got this chapter close to the end where he goes, all right, guys, it's time we talk about mind reading. This is an awkward subject, and maybe we shouldn't be talking about it. And a lot of people have some really serious opinions about it because physically a lot of this stuff is impossible. But just because something's impossible doesn't mean you haven't observed it. And we're going to need to talk about this. Just skip this chapter if you want. And I skipped the chapter. And I'm not certain I should have. Because after that, I did a whole bunch of meditation. And I wasn't trying to read minds. Wasn't even trying to do the jhanas. I was just trying to decrease my anxiety. The reason I got into meditation wasn't because I was into Buddhism. I just noticed I was stressed out a lot. And this seemed like the most powerful solution.
Reasonable approach.
And I didn't even like the techniques he advocated for. I wasn't really into them. I did Zen. You know what my meditation technique was?
What's that?
Sit quietly. And that's it.
And all of this just kind of followed from sitting quietly.
And then I got a bunch of insight, and I had these transformative experiences. And then after the first really big transformative experience.
And can I ask, how long was it? Like to people who might be wanting, myself included, to experience more transformative experiences? What sort of timeline was it for you?
Year and a half, couple of years maybe.
Okay.
But I wasn't even doing that much. Like
Right.
I told myself I should do 45 minutes a day. Maybe it was more like 45 minutes a week.
Yeah.
A little more here, a little less there.
Sure.
And I had this big transformed experience where I saw a whole bunch of stuff that my own mind was blocking out. To function, a lot of us tell lies to ourselves. We deceive ourselves. We distract ourselves from things we don't want to be thinking about. And when you do meditation, you see these, while you're on your way to seeing how your mind works, you see a whole bunch of the way your mind works. And when you do that, you end up staring at the lies you tell yourself. And when you're staring closely at the lies you tell yourself, this gets back to the Santa Claus thing, you don't believe them anymore. And then they dissolve, and then they shatter, and then you're freer. Now, a lot of these lies are really common across lots of people. And so when you dissolve the lies in your own head, it's nice because it means you're less anxious, which is what I was going for this whole time.
Right. Yeah.
And the side effect is now, and you understand the lies, so they just disappear, because that's not how lying works.
I think I see where you're going with this.
Where do you think this is going? I'm going with this.
That, well, the correlation between any two humans' minds is going to be there's going to be quite a bit of overlap
On this very fundamental level.
On this very fundamental level. So if you are getting, all this rich insight into your own mind and the sort of patterns and the paths that you naturally kind of want to go down, insight into your own biases, then it's natural to think that you could kind of assume at least some percentage of those other people are also inflicted by.
Yeah, you can just see straight through them.
Yeah.
You can see straight through these machinations people are using to deceive themselves. And that is very similar to mind reading. It looks like mind reading.
Yeah.